Hey guys, this is Jasmine, your brow expert. I just want to thank you so much for allowing me to be a brow expert. So many of you guys are new on my page, and I just want you to know that I've been shaping eyebrows for 25 years at the Anastasia Salon in Beverly Hills. So if you're ever in the neighborhood, please come by and say hello, or just get your brows done. By me, of course. I have been giving you guys a series of the clients that I shape eyebrows for at the salon. And what I'm doing here is to go over what I did and why I did it on that brow. I'm also going to obviously use myself along with showing you guys the model. You guys can clearly tell that my brows are looking a little off, right? So thankfully I say thankfully now because I'm much older. I'm over 55 years old, so I don't have much brow hair, but I didn't have much to begin with. So I had my brows microbladed a long time ago. I will go into that a little bit more later on another video, but I do have an expert that I interviewed on this page. So if you guys want to scroll down, there's an interview with a really good micro blade expert who did my eyebrows as well. So that's something you guys may want to look into, but I will go into it further in the future if maybe that's your way to go. So anyway, again, the brow arch, and my page is called Jasmine's Arch because I like to think that I have become an expert on the brow arch, and I want to give you guys the best arch possible, but to make it look natural. The arch is really all about balancing with your face. You don't want just a high arch just to get an arch, right? You want it to match the overall face, right? So what it does is it brings out the best of your face and not just, hey, those are great looking brows. So this side of the brow is lower, this side of the brow is much higher. And part of the reason is because we have more hair growing on one side than the other. But without further ado, let me show you guys the client that I shaped eyebrows for, who actually, by the way, has beautiful eyebrows. So right here, you can see the unevenness, right? I'm pointing out with the outline, the unevenness. She also has this side of the eyebrow where the little finger is, and how low it is. And that's probably her favorite side, the one that's not as low. We all have a favorite side, right? Okay, so I'm showing you an outline. I usually do this, not all the time, but I usually make an outline of the eyebrow to give you guys a visual as to the natural shape that she has. Now, my job is to bring out the natural shape with a little bit of adjustments, I would say. So, I mean, that's why you come and see an expert, right? Just to get a little bit more, the best part of your eyebrow, bring it out. And that's why you get the brow shaped as well, right? So right over here, you can see already that high gap because that brow is lower. So I raised it up a little higher. Again, the outline showing you that we need to take off some of the hair below there because there's too much hair dragging the eye down and not enough at the top. So I'm going to show you guys also the waxing. It's a quick little waxing video part. I don't usually show a full range of the waxing because that can kind of bore you. And unless you want to be a brow expert yourself, that could be another service that you guys can get into, jasminesarch.com. Anyway, so I'm doing the top as well because we have a lot of hair fuzz at the top. So when you wax that off, it gives it more of a definer, thicker look. And underneath that side of the eyebrow, the one I'm just doing right now, remember, it's lower. There's a lot of hair down there. So I made sure that I lift the hair up by waxing and tweezing a little bit more extra than I did on the other side. That's where the adjustment comes in. That's where my expertise comes in. And so now I've drawn the top. I always draw the top of the eyebrow. And let me do mine as well. Because again, that side is lower, right? So you want to raise that up a tiny bit, kind of to level out the other side just a little bit. You don't need to go too much. So this side is lower, right? So I'm just going to go higher, right over the arch. You don't have to exaggerate it too much, just a little bit. Did you notice that me just doing this, it already makes a difference. It just kind of raises it up a tiny bit and balances it with a little bit on the other side. So that's important. So once I draw that line above right here, you don't see the gap on me as much as you see it on her, but obviously we're going to fill that in. It makes it so much easier, but I'm going to make the other line. Now I'm using the pencil on her, but you can use powder or pencil. I'm using powder because I had to cover that old brow tattoo with some concealer. I don't want to disturb that concealer, which is why I usually use a brush and powder. It's a lot easier and more gentler. So again, this side is higher, right? Did you notice that I went lower on that side? So I'm going lower here, just like so. You probably can see more of that gap right there. So the higher side, you go low, and the lower side, you go higher. It's pretty simple, right? So I went ahead and filled in that lower side right here. And again, it doesn't have to be that much. You can just fill in that little gap area. You don't have to go inside the eyebrow too much, but you do want to do a little bit just to kind of blend the color into the hair. She actually has a nice full set of eyebrows, as you can already see. It's just the arch is off. A lot of you guys may have one side higher than the other. That's actually more common than you might think. Okay, so I'm filling in that gap right there. Now, you may not notice it, but the pressure is really light. You don't want to apply heavy pressure because you're only going to make the product go on too dark on the eyebrow and you have less control. So just get the color and press lightly. You can always build, you can always go over it again. But by pressing hard, you don't have as much control. And I filled in that area right up here. And as you can see, it's already just a little bit more balanced. Now, I'm not showing you waxing on me, obviously, so I'm going to grab a highlighter. Now, I'm using the spoolie brush to tone down that area. If in case you went a little too hard, all you need is a little spoolie brush, right? And then you go back, you spoolie, and you go back. So you want to tone it down. If it's too much, you could always go back and forth. Now, again, I'm pretending that I just waxed this area right here because, you know, it's too low, so I want it to go a little higher. So that's something you guys can do. And it's a little too low here. So I love this guy. It's a great little tool to use to go back and forth and make these little adjustments. Nothing's going to be that perfect because the brow does not lay perfectly. But you just go a little bit, the adjustment is a tiny bit because you also want the natural flow of the eyebrows to come out. You've noticed that I grabbed a pencil and I went kind of to see if it's balanced, right? One side to the other. It doesn't have to align perfectly, but it does, you can tell that it's raised up a tiny bit more. So there's a little bit more of a balanced look to the face. So again, it's also about just how well is it looking for the face, not just how great does the brows look. The brow gel is always important because it helps the product to stay on a little bit longer. Look at the before and after. And I'm going to show you guys an outline. See, look at the top outline. Look at the gap. And look at the lower side that I did wax and put little makeup. It's a lot closer, but it's not exactly even. To be honest with you, if you raise that up really high to make it perfectly even, then the face starts looking funny. You don't want to do that. So pretty good, right? And you still see the slight unevenness. That's okay because that's natural, right? But the adjustment is just kind of raising it a tiny bit or taking off a tiny bit of hair in one side just to get that bit of a balance. I don't know how does my brows look okay? Okay, so you guys get the point here, right? I mean, let me just clear this out so as you're looking at me, I don't look so crazy, right? Okay, so those are the two things I want you guys to take away on this video. Is to go higher on the lower side and go lower. Wait a minute, it's on this side. Go higher on the lower side and go lower on the higher side. So you're just kind of like doing this. Hope that makes sense. And let me know in the comments if this helped you guys out. If it did help you and if you liked it, please give me a like. So definitely pass this along if you know someone that can use this tip. And definitely subscribe because every week I will release another video where I have shaped a client's eyebrows that you guys might relate to. So thank you for your time and I will see you guys next week. Thank you.